So here at Sternberg, we have the region's largest freshwater mussel collection. A lot of people don't know this. So we actually don't know how many we have because we just got a huge lot, and I mean 390 boxes full of these things, donated from Wichita State University, and it's a very historically valuable collection. So extremely important. So right now we're working on getting all that cataloged and assimilated into our collection. But so as we're looking through these things, keep in mind that the actual animal lives inside these valves. So this is the group Bivalvia, meaning bivalve. They've got two different valves. Okay? So we're just looking at the shells. The actual creature would be inside the shell. Okay? So some of the things that we look at when we're identifying these different bivalves. So these structures right here are called pseudocardinal teeth. Moving just beyond that, we have what's called the interdentum, which is this little area right here. Beyond that even further are the lateral teeth, if you see that right there. Now they're called teeth, they're not used for chewing, they're not used for feeding at all. Mussels are filter feeders, which actually makes them very good for environmental quality indication. So they actually filter their food out of the water. So they're bringing in water, along with that water comes plankton, zooplankton, phytoplankton, and nutrients, things like that. So they filter that out of the water. They're actually excellent environmental indicators because they're also picking up the contaminants in that water. And they will actually accumulate those contaminants inside their body. And so they're very, by looking at the presence or absence of certain species in areas, we can tell a lot about the water quality in that area. So with all that being said, let's look at some more things. And remember, you have to look at all of these things combined to help identify these things. So we've got the pseudocardinal teeth, the interdentum, the lateral teeth, and on both sides of those are mussel scars. So those are the main muscles that hold the two valves together. Okay? This whole pearly white surface is known as the nacre. So a lot of times we're looking at the color of the nacre. And also a lot of times we're looking at the overall shape of the organism, which we'll get to here in a little bit. One of the things I love the most about freshwater mussels is the scientists that name them are really, really clever, and I absolutely love the names, and you'll see some of these names right here, and a lot of it has to do with the way they look. So this area right here is called the beak cavity, and so a lot of things when we're identifying species, there can be a deep cavity or a very shallow cavity, as you'll see with some of these as well. So this species right here is the round pigtoe, and it shows a lot of the characters that we're going to look at, and it shows them very, very well. So let's move next door to the three-horn wartyback. So you can see, again, you can see the color of the nacre, you can see the nice, well-developed pseudocardinal teeth, decent lateral teeth. But the characters we want to look at here, where it gets the name three-horn wartyback, are on the other side. So three-horn, 1, 2, and 3. So these are usually called knobs or pustules, depending on the size of them. Pustules are small, knobs are usually a lot bigger. So these would be knobs for the most part. This area right here is called the umbo. So a lot of the key characters deal with the umbo as well. So you could see this one would be a very simple one to key out because of the three knobs on the back. So if I were to find a three-horn wartyback, I would know for sure without even having to open it up and look at it. Moving on to the next one. This one's called a fluted shell, And again, so you can see it's not quite as deep as the others. The size, it's a little bigger than the others. Good sized pseudocardinal teeth. Not much for lateral teeth. But fluted, this area right here, is known as the flute. So when we look at that and we open it up, we can see why it's called a fluted shell. This area right here is known as the flute. And you can see it's very pronounced in this species, the fluted shell. Next one, the fragile paper shell. And I imagine at this point you're trying to figure out, and you're easily figuring out why they're given the names that they're given. So fragile paper shell, this is a very, very thin mussel. So it easily breaks. Big, nice nacre, not a whole lot going on there, not very deep at all. You can see there's essentially no pseudocardinal teeth, very minor lateral teeth. So again, those are the combinations that we use. And a lot of times we'll look at the color and the patterns that are on the outside. So sometimes they're pinkish, sometimes they're yellow, sometimes they have nice green lines coming down through here, depending on the species. Then we'll go to the other extreme. So that one's nice and flat and thin. The plain pocketbook here is the other extreme. It is very thick, really hard. I mean, very deep in here. You can see the nice muscle scars there. Again, though, not a whole lot of big pseudocardinal teeth, but nice lateral teeth. And a big, thick muscle with an interesting shape as well. There's that umbo, very pronounced umbo in the plain pocketbook. This is one, I don't know where pocketbook comes from, but we're going with it. That's what it's called. Whereas the pistol grip, that one's very easy to tell, and usually easy to tell in the field because of this right here, this area here, looks like a pistol grip. If you got to use your imagination, but if you were holding it like that, you could see where it gets the name pistol grip. Just a very unique shape. None of the other ones that we looked at have that shape at all. But again, this one's got nice pseudocardinal teeth, really good lateral teeth. So again, the reason for those teeth is not for feeding. It's actually to make sure that the two valves align and stay together where they're supposed to. So both sides fit into those, or the other side of this would fit nicely into that groove. The other pseudocardinal teeth will fit in there and match up just perfectly. And then you're going to have those mussels that hold the mussel together. This is one of my favorites too, and I still can't figure out where this comes from, but I can get an idea. This is where you're going to need to use your imagination a lot. But let's look at the internal anatomy here. Giant pseudocardinal teeth, really big. And then you can see the nice lateral teeth, okay? Nice and deep, very heavy bodied, and you can see the unique shape of the mussel. And here's where I'm going to show you, and hopefully we can get this on camera. See how those teeth fit together. So there's a groove here, and then there's a tooth there, and then a big groove there and a tooth there. So they're going to fit together like that. And again, that's going to keep its shape. Now the reason this is called a monkey face isn't because of the way it looks like this, but it's supposedly the way it looks like this. And I don't necessarily see it, but some people do. There's supposedly a monkey face in there. Here's a nice beard, here's where the mouth would be, here's where the eyes would be. Again, these names are very, very clever. I really enjoy them. So the last thing I want to say before I let you guys go is there's nice field guides, pocket guides out there for a wide variety of organisms, plants and animals in the state of Kansas. And these are all produced and put out by the Great Plains Nature Center. This has every species that has been found in the state of Kansas. So it's excellent, and it goes through everything that I just showed you. It shows the anatomy. And these you can get at the Great Plains Nature Center. You can get them here at Sternberg if you ask for them. So it's sponsored mostly by the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks, the West Star Energy Green Team, which is now Evergy Green Team, and the Great Plains Nature Center. They have a great, great series of these field guides, these little booklets, which are wonderful, and they're free to the public. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you for coming, and make sure you tune in next week.
Thanks for joining us in A New Way to Museum with the Sternberg Museum of Natural History. If you enjoyed this video, like it and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell for notifications when we release a new video. Support us on Patreon for early access and exclusive content. You can also follow us on all our social media. Links are found in the description. Thanks for watching, and follow your curiosity to new discoveries.